Hey everyone, and welcome to the finale of Lucid 9. I say finale, but I could be wrong. I could always be misjudging the length of the game, but I'm pretty sure I'm at the end. I think. I hope. Or else, calling this the finale will be really, egg on my facey. But we last left off with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Someone's in our apartment playing really good classical music. And let's just get right back to it. There's the music. The dizzy glow of ignorant happiness falls away from me all at once. I push the door open quietly, adrenaline spiking in my veins. My fingers are crossed. I know it would be bad if it was him, but I hope it's Ryuta because I would love to have some closure with him. Like, we didn't get no closure with Ryuta. Unless we know he thinks he's Quetzalcoatl or some Aztec god. Of course, it's not over. Was I just getting complacent? I inch into my apartment as the music warbles on. Aside from the moonlit streaming through the curtains, everything is dark. I reach out to the switch on the light, but nothing happens. The music swells to a crescendo. My hands grow clammy. I tighten against my jacket. Something pricks at the back of my neck. I whip around, squinting at the shadows. Nothing but stillness. I shuffle to the kitchen, keeping my steps light as I extract a knife from the counter. My heart pulses in my throat. Oh, we're getting ready for the twist. Someone's in my apartment. Could it possibly? No, he's under custody. He has to be. Shigure would tell me if he escaped. I inch closer, tightening my shaking grip on the handle of the knife. I know that silhouette well. That bitch. And then something inches into the light, awash with silver. Good evening, Yamashimoto. That bitch. I will not refer to her as her name. That she's now that bitch. She always was that bitch. Natsuki Tanaka leans against a window, arms crossed over her chest as she surveys me with a patronizing smile. Finally, some answers. Natsuki? Why is Natsuki here? How did she get here? What is she doing? Did you miss me? My grip goes slack, the knife clatters to the floor. What are you doing here? I wonder. You can't just waltz into my apartment. I already have. Get out or I'm calling the police. Go ahead. You believe they would listen. She's right. Police in this city are incompetent. I fall silent at that, my head spinning too fast to track. Closing down the school, withholding information on the crime, setting up Ryuta as a scarecrow immigrant. That was you. Oh dear, I could hardly take credit for such a master's work of art. No, I'm just an ordinary teenage girl beset with high school drama and college entrance exams. A sudden thrill of rage races through my veins. I lunge forward, slamming my hand on the glass. Look, Natsuki, I'm not in the mood for games. Oh, that's interesting. I could have sworn you were just playing one. What? Oh, are you feigning ignorance now? I speak of the, roleplay, of course. How could you know? I believe we've been over this part, Yamashimoto. It's hardly of any importance by at this point. She is literally God. Ooh. She suddenly twists her fingers into my collar, her face dropping into a harsh straight line. That really matters in your sheer ignorance. What really matters is your sheer ignorance. You should have heeded my words while you had the chance. Your words? She did warn you to stay the fuck out of this. That you should have stayed out of this, as I said. All of this. She releases me, shoving me back with a surprising strength. I barely catch myself against the wall. I caught the serial killer. Isn't that what? Natsuki barks in harsh laughter. What, that little pawn? I wouldn't go patting myself on the back for him if I were you. I practically spoon-fed him into your hands. She claps hollowly, every facet of her face alight in a sardonic smile. Congratulations, Yamashimoto. You think this is the end? You aren't even close. She slides to the door with a cat-like grace, tapping something on her hip. The deadly Fugu cuts off. The music cuts off abruptly. Oh, and you might want to change your key code. There's silence, nothing but cold, deathly silence. I sink into my sofa, waiting in the darkness of my apartment. Only one phrase thrums through my mind. Ryuta in jail, Rui alive. So what? I. The press is silent. The school is closed. And according to Shigure, something's wrong with the police, too. I thought I understood everything, but Natsuki is always one step ahead. I got a horrible sinking feeling in my gut right now. I thought I was the orchestrator, but it looks like I'm just a pawn. Still too ignorant, still too weak. I don't know what's going on. But maybe this is when that all changes, because now I'm capable of fighting back. That made me jump. For Mizu, who I should have protected. Aww, that's cute. For the smiles of my friends. For peace and happiness, I guess. How cliche. Maybe it's time to stop staying back, thinking that everything will go wrong. Maybe it's time to move forward. There's something behind all these murders, and I have to figure out what that something is. And I can't do it alone, but I guess I'm realizing that I won't need to. Yako? Or was that me? I think that was Yama. I dream of something strange. At the time, it was perfectly clear, something so vibrant that it was almost tangible. There was smoke, something heavy in the air, a kind of blackness filling my lungs. While I was dreaming, I understood everything, but after waking up, I felt vague, a silhouette immersed in fog. Yeah, I think that was Yama. I think that'll be my thumbnail for the finale. I feel like I've missed something important. Normally, I might check if Natsuki's stolen anything from my apartment. To be honest, though, she doesn't seem like she doesn't seem like the thieving type. If anything, she's probably the kind of person who relishes in the abject terror of humanity. Instead, I guess I'll wash up and get dressed and do whatever else is routine. Waiting for the moment of truth until I meet Rui today. It's a little strange. Now that the day's bright and the sun's shining and the weather is stereotypically beautiful summer day, I find that my head is painfully clear. Cryptic warnings, whatever. They're only ominous in the dead of night when accompanied by Danse Macabre. As for the meeting with Rui today, I can't deny it any longer. She's going to confess to me. She's going to say that she likes me, as in has romantic feelings for me. Just so I don't misunderstand, dummy. Okay, so listen up or she'll punch me. And by the way, this doesn't mean we have to date or anything. Wow, I can't get tongue-tied. She thought she would let me know. And she's liked me for forever, but because of I'm just such a dummy, I never realized it. But anyway, where was she going with this? She had a point. Ah, right, she likes me. That's all she had to tell me. Then she'll finally stop breathlessly, and I'm supposed to act floored because she was so very subtle about hiding her feelings. Maybe it sounds arrogant, but it's true. I can't deny that for some unknown reason, Rui Hayata has feelings for Yamashimoto. The problem has always been, what do I do in response? You'd think that, after facing a serial killer together, anything else would pale in comparison. And, well, I guess it did. Yesterday, no, for the past 3 months even. But maybe I'm having doubts now that the event is actually imminent. Because for the first time, it's not just something I can push off for later. I'm going to have to face it today. The thing is, I know what Misaki would say, or what Akira would say. She likes you and you need her. What's the problem? That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. Rui doesn't deserve anything half-hearted. She doesn't deserve a guy who doesn't even know how he feels, or a guy who's using her for his own purpose. She deserves someone who's totally, madly in love with her, who will pursue her to the ends of the earth, who will fight for her like she's... Why do I suddenly think of Masato? Then Misaki or Akira will respond, well, I'm sure that doesn't matter to her. She likes you for you. And I'll respond, It does matter. It will always matter, because if you can't love someone with your full being, you can't love them at all. It will matter because in a few months Rui will be disappointed, claiming that she is in a one-sided love, and she'll want more from me than I'm able to give. It will matter because if something happens between us, I'll have no one left. Then Misaki or Akira will respond. Love is a choice. Love is an action. It's not a wishy-washy feeling. You can choose to love her. Then they'll continue. So, go confess. Seize the day. And at that convenient moment, Rui will call me, and the shoujo manga will be complete. And speak of the devil, don't tell me this is about to happen. Hey, I know we're supposed to meet up today, but I was thinking that... Yama? My voice dies in my throat, and I flop to the couch staring at the ceiling. Hi, Dad. An awkward pause. I hadn't expected this call to come today. In fact, I hadn't expected this call to come, well, ever. What exactly has been going on? I don't hear disapproval in his voice. I don't hear anger. I don't hear any worry. He sounds distant, just like how I feel distant. Nothing much. I sound feeble coming from my mouth. It sounds feeble coming from my mouth. Of course, stuff has been happening. They've been paying the hospital bills. They've been receiving notice from school. Who knows? Maybe Shiguri talked to them. I want to hear it from your own mouth. Yeah, Mom? Yama, what's this about a serial killer and Rui and... They weren't supposed to call. They were supposed to be ignorant, able to keep their son at a distance, abiding by whatever arrangement was most comfortable for them. Yeah, there's been disappearances at school. It was actually because a faculty member at the school was kidnapping students and murdering them. Yes, we heard, and I can't believe it. He almost killed Rui. Dead silence follows this statement. I wait, my palms sweating against my pajamas. So, the hospital visits. Yeah. Another silence. So much for not bothering my parents. Yama, you almost died, didn't you? You better tell me that there was no other option, son, and you had called the police. There wasn't, and yeah, I did. The police are useless! There yet another silence. It's almost as if they're co-workers rather than family members. To be honest, I can't really say why. It's not like my parents hate me. In fact, I know they care for me. Things used to be different. We were a close family in a way. Mom and Dad were always smiling, always laughing, always excited about their restaurant. But after Mizu, son. Huh. Did you hear your mother? I paused. Dad sighs. We're coming to pick you up now. Wait, what? Leave now? There's too much unfinished. There's too much unfinished. There's too much that I'm leaving behind. There's just too much. Honey, we thought you'd be safe and happy in Asama with Rui, but... I am! Oh, yes. I could tell that from the hospital notes and from the serial killer that was apparently after after yours and Rui's neck. Dear, please calm down. You're coming back, Yama Shimoto. I'm not... And suddenly his voice cracks. Losing... Oh, my heart. Oh, that broke my heart. Oh. Just like that, the distance between us shatters into pieces. I fall backwards, my mind failing for explanation. Expectations, guilt, nostalgia. We've been distant for years. We've barely spoken. Most times, I don't even come home for the holidays. Because after Mizu died, all they did was push me away. Right? Or was I the one who pushed them away first? I don't remember anymore. All I know is I don't want to go back. Not yet. I still need to stay in the city. I still have so much to discover about Ryuta, about the news, about everything. But it's probably selfish. No, it's definitely selfish. All this time, I thought my parents sent me to school with Rui to kick me out. But it looks like they've just been trying to care for me. Shouldn't I repay that favor? We're getting in the car. Pack your stuff, Yama. We'll be there in 3 hours, honey. On the dot. 3 hours. 3 hours to say goodbye to all the friends I've made, tie up all the loose ends I've been left hanging, including my visit to Rui, if I'm going to visit her at all. What will I even do when I return to my hometown? Sleep? Watch movies? Waste the day just like I used to? No, I might not be in Osamu anymore, but that doesn't mean that I can't do anything productive from home. Okay. Have a safe trip. Bye-bye, honey. You be safe, too. And with that, the call shuts off. I probably should feel relieved or happy or grateful for learning that my parents haven't been ignoring me this whole time. But I only feel blank. Maybe the distance is too much. Maybe it's all too late. I carelessly begin to throw some of my belongings in luggage, but I stop short checking the time. 3 hours. I just have enough time to visit one friend, then pop over to Rui's before my parents arrive. Who? Just one person. It seems so sudden. Well, then again, I guess I shouldn't be making this big deal. It's not exactly moving to a different planet. Still, if I can only see one person, who should I see? Hey, I got a harem king. Ooh. I'm gonna save here so I can at least go back and see him for myself. Elizabeth. Honestly, I'm not sure why I'm making this choice, but here it goes. Why not? That's who I want him to see. That's kind of who I want to see. She cares about him in a weird way. Hello? Hi. An awkward silence descends between us. Without the hubbub of another friend, the atmosphere feels notably uncomfortable. We don't even have the consolation of a barrier of hatred anymore. Well, what is it? What are you up to right now? Studying for university entry exams. School might have closed, but the tests have not been postponed. Studying. What? You're not? Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, me and studying. I still haven't the foggiest... See, the reason why I'm choosing Elizabeth, I know there's going to be comedy here. I choose Akira, things would be weird because she likes Yama too, and it's a weird love triangle between her and Rui. Misaki, Ari's a robot. I don't want no more self-aware shit. So, Elizabeth at least would provide some comedy. I still haven't the foggiest notion on how you managed to pass class, much less pull partial decent grades. Dashing good looks. Of that, I severely doubt. Oh, love, would you ever wound me? Don't... Oh, never mind. Why are you calling? Despite her irritated fawn, I can't tell if there's a hint of concern. Might I spare a moment of your time, Miss Bennet? There's a brief pause before she responds. Whatever for, Mr. Darcy? Pre-chance to tell me why at your whim? I'm starting to wonder if it's a good idea to talk to her instead of someone else. No, I need to give her a chance. Merely to exchange a word, Miss Bennet. I request your presence at the... Oh, wait. The entire school is closed. I don't exactly want to meet at the cafe, especially since that's her workplace. Is there anywhere else where we could have a decent discussion? Ah, of course. Might we rendezvous at the river near the academy, Miss Bennet? It will be for but a moment. You know what rendezvous implies, Mr. Darcy. A meeting, yes, I am aware. That's not... Oh, never mind. I shall see you there. Farewell, Miss Bennet. She cuts the call without another word, but I push away the creeping doubt. Right, time to head to the river. I leave my luggage in the apartment and head outside, slipping Rui's pen into my pocket. The day is beautiful and bright, sending waves of sparkle skidding across the surface of the Rainbow River. If I hadn't almost drowned in it twice, I might have actually appreciated its beauty. As it is, I can barely bring myself to approach a bench that's a good distance from the river's edge. Elizabeth, already seated on the bench, hand idly pulling at strands of her hair. She seems to be in deep thought. Deep in thought. Top of the morning to your majesty. Elizabeth jerks away, but to her credit, she doesn't let out a sound. Oh, that was sudden. I sit next to her, feeling a little disappointed. What, you have gotten used to my jump scares? I don't get your meaning. You didn't squeal. Instead of getting annoyed, she only glances away. So it seems. Well, what else would you expect considering that... She stops short. Never mind, just tell me what you're here for. I want to crack another joke, but when I open my mouth, the truth spills out instead. I'm moving. Oh, that's unusual. I didn't think you would continue your studies. Wait, what? Aren't you moving schools since the academy is closed? I suppose that even if it's short time, you might learn something vitally important. The thought never crossed my mind. I'm not changing schools. I'm moving away from Osamu. Whether you stay in Osamu or not, strictly speaking, matters. So as long as you're transferring, I'm not going to school. I'm moving back home to my hometown because my parents want me to get out of here after the whole, serial killing business. The sudden burst of rage falls just as quietly as it rose. I sink into the bench, wearily pressing my fingers against my forehead. Sorry. No, I should have understood. You don't want to move, I presume. Why would I? Because your parents do have a point. You did nearly die. Twice. So I'd run away because I was scared. Well, it wouldn't exactly be inconsistent with your character. In the past, you always tended to run away from your problems. I open my mouth, to spew a comeback, but something gives me pause. She's not saying this in a malicious manner. She's just being blunt and speaking her mind. It actually is refreshing. I don't need to second guess what she's thinking. Yeah, I guess I've run away a lot. But if you think about it, I've only run when there was some place better to run to. I've got a pretty good life here. Been here for 4 years? I don't have anything to gain by going back to my hometown. And Isamu also boasted to be the most prosperous town in Japan. Exactly, no reason for me to leave. I'm glad you can adopt such a cynical view. What can I say? I'm an optimist. Elizabeth twitches her lips, pausing for a moment. And yet, it seems that there may be a reason to leave Isamu. The media. Amongst other things. Ryuta's cover-up. Amongst other things. How many of these other things are going on exactly? The whole bloody lot, apparently. Truly, your language is dainty, Miss Bennet. And yours is primitive as ever, Mr. Darcy. We drop into another silence. Talking with Elizabeth without a sense of pure loathing. It's incredibly surreal feeling. So, have you anything else to say besides announcing the sudden move? Like what? Oh, I don't know. But we are by a river with no one else around, a few weeks after your recovery from a life-threatening ordeal, sitting on a bench together. Yeah, she's blushing. What do you think, I'm going to push you in the river? Blimey, you're about as dense as a block of metal. Or maybe I just don't want to think about what you're implying. I think you've been reading too many books, Lizzie. You're getting a little paranoid, no? Oh, shut up. Well, aren't you feisty? Care for a spot of tea? If it only to douse you with. There's something comforting familiar about the verbal abuse. This time, when we pause, it doesn't feel strained. Don't worry about the kind of stuff. By the way, I already get enough matchmaking when it comes to Rui. Alright. I assume you're going to visit her today. I'm supposed to, I guess. What's that supposed to mean? Should I tell her, Elizabeth of all people? A few months ago, I wouldn't have. I would have expected her to mock me or insult me, maybe even hit me. But then again, today is different. I'm pretty sure she's going to confess to me. So you're thinking of running away? Surprisingly, through her words are blunt. There's not a fleck of honesty in her voice. There's not a fleck of hostility in her voice. Well, when you put it that way, I know that many people believe that the two of you should date. Does that, in a way, only make you more repulsed by the idea? She's taking me seriously. I should be surprised, but I find that I'm not. I'm not exactly repulsed. I just don't really know how I feel towards Rui, I guess. I see. It wouldn't feel fair to her if we started dating when I don't even know how I feel. That makes sense. I'm proud. You're being very mindful of the situation. I snort at this, until I realize that she's not joking. Wait, for real? I'm just saying that what used to bug me the most, you never took anything seriously. Even so. Well, from my perspective, it seems like you care about Rui very much. You probably don't want to hurt her, correct? Yeah. I've read several novels about childhood friends. Sometimes they wonder whether they really like each other, or whether their feelings are just natural reactions to spending so much time together. Yeah, that's exactly it, actually. She's really special, but do you wonder that about Rui? If she is simply mistaking her friendship for feelings? I never thought about it consciously, but I think she's right. You're quite observant, Miss Bennet. A natural consequences of being well read, Mr. Darcy. There's a small pause. Elizabeth takes a quiet breath. I think you should see her today. Nothing good will come from holding all this in. In my opinion, the two of you just need to have a proper talk. Like we did. About drastically different things, I would hope. I chuckle. It's genuine. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth turns back to the water, contemplative. Are you coming back? I'd like to, I guess. But are you coming back? Probably not. She coughs slightly. I glance at my phone. Time to meet Rui. Mind telling the others why I'm moving out? I gotta go. Already? Yeah, my parents are coming. Should I ask why you'd rather not tell them yourself? There's such thing as a text messaging and email, you know. Can you ask? Of course. Should you? Preferably not. Why not? Because. You know, I have this feeling that you're trying to be a noble idiot who distances everyone and tries to save the world on his own. Nothing wrong with being that. The insight is sudden but keen. I find myself remembering Natsuki's visit. I've told myself that I only really have time to visit one person, but it's not exactly like communicating with people is hard. So then, why do I feel so reluctant? There's a very plausible answer that I haven't thought of until now. Subconsciously, I still believe that getting people involved will just hurt them. If Natsuki's little drop-in wasn't an indicator of that, I don't know what is. Please, you know me. The only skin I try to save would be mine. We both know that's utter rubbish, Yama. I only stand with my best attempt at a disarming smile. Take care of Lizzie. And you. I head down the path to the train station, paying little attention to the good weather. Talking to Elizabeth was unusually comfortable, relatively speaking. Sure, we aren't exactly chatting it up like best friends, but given the circumstances, I'm just surprised that we can hold a decent conversation. I wonder if we have a lot more in common than I originally thought. The journey to the train station certainly feels jarring in more ways than one. Every step feels surreal. I'm walking through light, or water, or some half-formed dream. A distant part of my mind is whispering, moving? It can't be real. This can't be real. Earlier this year, the thought of leaving Osamu would be unimaginable. I had nowhere else to go. Even now, I don't really have anywhere to go. Well, either way, I need to meet with Rui before my parents arrive. I board the subway to Rui's house, gripping the pen in my pocket as the tunnel lights glare past the windows. Just go there, talk with her, just hear her out. I'd like nothing more than to bolt, but this is time to man up and face the problems head on. Everything will be fine. Probably. My arrival in District 2 is quiet and unhurried. Both the station and the roads are practically empty. Despite its close distance to the heart of the city, this district takes on some definite suburban qualities. Plants are definitely more plentiful here than in the other districts, save for the boundary by Osamu Forest. As I jump into the nearest cab, I catch a glimpse of the towering cluster of research buildings that line the roads. They're the closest thing to skyscrapers in the district. Most of them proudly bear the insignia of Way Forward Pharmaceuticals. Well, I guess that District 2 is known for the medical district for a reason. Hospitals, retirement homes, top-tier specialized treatment centers. District 2 would have it all. I've experienced it myself, far more than I would like. I dismiss my thoughts as the taxi rolls its way to the quieter side of the district and pulls to a stop at the entrance of a suburban neighborhood. A quick payment later, I'm striding to a familiar picket fence, house on the corner of the street, surveying the signs hung cheerily on the door. Home is where the heart is, and the heart is where the Hayatas are. Oh, that's cute. Cute. I'd always thought that phrase was stupidly cheesy when I was a kid, but once I grow up a little, I guess you start appreciating stupidly cheesy things. I stand there before the house for a moment, breathing quietly through my nose. This is it. The point of no return. Isn't that what they call it? The moment where it is no longer possible to have one foot in the water and one foot on land, where the fence is too high to straddle and too thin to balance on. Yes or no, black or white, A or B. It's time for me to make a decision, whatever that decision means. I raise one hand to the door. Pause. One hand. How many lives have been ended with one hand? Roman gladiators looking to audience, searching for the telltale direction of their thumbs. Execution orders from the monarchs all over the world given the snap of a finger or the raising of an arm. Anyone with a semi-automatic in their hand able to end a destiny with a twitch of their index finger. This isn't good. My mind wandering again. I tell myself that the situation isn't even that bad, that really. I just need to focus. Now is not the time to lose my head. I raise my hand again and knock firmly on the door. But it gives way beneath my knuckles, creaking open in the silence. Maybe she left it open for me. But then the smell hits. What? The moment it does, everything it's just unbearable. The first thing that hits my nostrils is a gassy, greasy smell of something burning, like stir-fry left too long on a steel pan. I instinctively cover my nose with my sleeve. The stench passes past my fabric, filling through every thread like a worn sieve. The house is dark, beyond dimly lit. Not a single light flickers within sight. Oh, my heart's racing. I thought this was over. Even on the electronics, every curtain is fastened shut, leaving only stray pinpricks of light peeking through the windows. A strange curdle of fear fastens in my stomach. I push the door wide open, my voice cracking. Uncle? Auntie? Rui? A flood of sunlight washes around my figure, bathing the living room in an ivory glow. What is revealed is cruel, unforgiving, and bleak as it is bright. Shards. It's the first thing my eyes land on. Fragmented, torn edges, shards of metal, wood, glass, all strewn over the floor and the furniture. Cushions with ragged seams and scattered on the ground, accompanying their toppled armchairs and sofas. The family pictures, usually in pristine conditions, on the wall are hanging askew, frames cracked and pictures sagging through broken glass. Transfixed in shock, I step forward, my eyes roving around to take the scene. I pass by the narrow doorway that leads to the kitchen. Rui and I used to play tag here back in the day. That was when we tried to climb up the door frame by pushing against the opposite sides. I used to do that. Now all that I can see is a pan settled on a stove, old oil dancing over a blackened food. The stove's still alight. Doesn't take a genius to realize that the source of the stench. A fire hazard in any circumstances. And yet it doesn't feel like the fire is the worst to come. Oh my god. I almost chuckle. Maybe that's where preparing my meal. Maybe they were preparing for my arrival. Hospitality was always their strong suit. But despite that, abandoned cooking, lit stove, burning food. These signs all point to some direction as the destruction before me, something that winds in lazy path into the dining room. Glass crunched beneath my shoes as I stop by the jarring counter, lifting my eyes slowly to the dining table. Dread. I had often felt it in my life, the black, slick sensation in the pit of my stomach that sloshed with every step. That rose as bile to my throat, that crushed my lungs until I suffocated by my own breath. But I have never felt it like dread. Oh, I read that. Like this. I stagger against the wall, my heart stopping cold in my chest. They're dead, aren't they? Rui's father is slouched against the table, head pressed almost comically into a bowl of soup, his hands hanging idly at the sides. Blood is coated over the back of his skull, crusting over his neatly kept hair and swimming in the soup that covers his face. His skin pale, lifeless, his joints solidified in rigor mortis. Dead. How could this happen? My vision spins angrily before me. I feel the automatic response of my conscience slipping away. No. I wrestle reality back into my grasp, jerking away from the terrible scene. I have to call the police, get help, do something. I stumble out of the dining room, jamming at my phone with trembling fingers when my foot catches against something stiff and creaky, and something very human. Rui's mother, blank-eyed, cut from shattered fragments on the floor covering her body, jaw locked in shock as the unseen assailant. A bullet hole is planted squarely in her chest, soaking her clothes into the carpet around her with blood. Clutched at her frozen hands is a pitiful capsule of pepper spray, a laughable self-defense when surrounded by such devastation. I shakily pull myself to my feet, my breath coming fast and heavy. Too late. Dead. All my fault. No, 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 no. Rui. Where's Rui? I stagger upward, vision still twisting as I pull myself along the wall into the kitchen. She might still be alive. She might be okay. My own mind ridicules this senseless hope, and yeah, I feel strength bursting into my limbs, clearing my mind for one vital minute. Let's invent a little story. Let's say that once upon a time a terrible murder occurred at an unsuspecting faux suburban home. Two adults accompanied Two adults, accomplished adults, beautiful and gentle adults, were brutally shot to death. Let's say that their home was ravaged, that shards of wood, glass, metal, and ceramics littered the ground so heavily that it was impossible to take the single clear step. But let's say that their sacrifices were not in vain. Despite the blindsiding crime, their daughter, still a precious little girl, was able to escape. This daughter found refuge. She waited for her friends. She was terrified, she was upset, but she was alive. Let's invent this little story and let's pretend that it's true. Let's sleep in peace, wrapped with hope, ready to fight for a brighter tomorrow. But stories, no matter how beautiful, are always so very wrong, because in the kitchen there is an island counter. At the edge of the counter there is a sickening lump of blood that lazily oozes down the cabinet, and below this island counter something very, very mocking. Oh, really? But the hope that had dared to rise in my chest crashes down my lungs, driving all breath from my body. My eyes are peeled open, unblinking, as if staring will somehow get rid of this sickening display. No, this isn't true. I crumpled against the floor, splattering blood over my knees. I taste something metallic in the corner of my tongue. Visceral memories, barely 3 months old, surged to my eyes. We saved her from Ryuda! And this? This is... No, this was over. Everything was over. Isn't true, isn't true, isn't true. Pipes screaming, wood on metal, and knife sinking deep into flesh. No, 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 no. I seize the nearest object, a renegade shard from a nearby shattered bowl, and gash it violently against my skin. It should skitter across the surface, or glide like ice, or feel distant, quiet, even worlds away. But my arm shrieks in protest as the edge digs into flesh, drawing slow, weeping blood. I can only stare as it throbs. Not a nightmare, not a dream, nothing but reality. Bile crawls up my throat until I retch against my mouth. I barely manage to turn away in time. Digested saliva drips from my lips and seeps into the cracks on the tiled floor. A vision, a hallucination, some other explanation. Not this, never this. My sweat is ice cold against my skin. I'm shivering with such intensity that bones rattle in my eardrums. Pipes, knives, vomit, blood. Smoke, flooding, exhaust. No. This was supposed to be over. This was supposed to be behind us. She was safe. She made it home. She wasn't at school. She was safe. Oh, God. I forced my eyes to drift down, engraving every corner, every color, every spike of light into the deep recesses of my mind. Eyes glazed, mouth slightly agape, a remnant of surprise. She's dressed nicely, so nicely, I don't even remember the last time I saw her out of uniform. She's even wearing jewelry. I choke over my own voice. Right. She thought of dressing nicely today. She thought of meeting up with me. We were going to have a little dramatic scene, something to do with I like you, and me too, maybe. We were going to eat together with her family, maybe being embarrassed, maybe being understanding. Who knows what the decision would have come to. But that is a different world. I reach to her cheek, touching her jaw with the edge of my fingertip. There should be warmth, pulsing life, almost expect to feel her breath against my palm. It's cold, still, unnatural, a mannequin manufactured by fate. A small sigh expels from my lips, washing against her bangs. Rui, wake up. Her eyes are open, unblinking, a staring contest on the other side of life. She's not here. I retract my throbbing arm back to my side, slumping unceremoniously against the kitchen island. Shouldn't I scream for help? Shouldn't I wail in anger? But I only feel a numbness settling over my skin, something deep, calm, like a lake frosting over in the face of fresh snow. Of course, it would be Rui, just like it was Mizu. There doesn't need to be any logic, there doesn't need to be any sense. And there has to be. It's cold, unforgiving injustice. All there has to be is misery, pain, suffering. Death can strike wherever it pleases, no long as it receives an ample reward. I throw back my head. I laugh. It reverberates in the empty, splintered ceiling. Beautiful, I muse. It's cold, kind beauty, but it's beautiful. Just like death. My eyes drift onto Rui's face. I only stand there, an irreplaceable calm stilling all other thoughts. I can almost see it from her face, her fragile, pale body laid against the ground like a princess in slumber. Maybe she's smiling a peaceful smile. I'd like that. She would be lovely, quiet, vulnerable, weak. She'd be standing here, frozen in shock, the images swimming before her in macabre production. Weak. She'd be trying to call the police, but her fingers would slide across the bloody surface of her phone to no avail. Weak. I wish that we could trade places. I wish that I could be the one lying on the floor, and she would be the one slipping against the wall with her useless phone clasped in her trembling fingertips. I wish that I would be the one with my jaw solidified in horror, and she would be the one with the peaceful, emotionless smile. I wish that I would be gone, drifting away in a soulless wind, and she would be here, her spirit tortured and rent apart, but alive. I wished many things, most of them too ridiculous to name. This, too, must be ridiculous. My vision blurs. Perhaps I care, perhaps I don't. Something clatters to the ground, steeped gently in Rui's pool of blood. Time wears drearily on. I see nothing, I hear nothing. There is nothing in my mind but a pale reflection, a glimmer of scarlet ribbon fixed behind my eyelids. The clock ticks. I talk. Of all people, Rui Hayata. She just escaped a serial killer. We just been stretched to our wits' end. We just been in an intensive therapy for 3 months. That was certainly a hefty debt for our life to repay. An innocent, gentle-hearted girl thrust into something that snatched away her ability to talk. She deserved the world. She should have grown up, married a guy who was madly in love with her, had 1.6 children, lived in a house with a white picket fence. But this is beyond simple injustice. This is just cruelty. Life is cruel. Death is cruel. And Rui has to pay the price for damned little games. Treating her like a pawn on a chessboard, an insignificant sacrifice for a meaningless play. I can't stand it. She never deserved this, any of it. I lash out blindly. The heel of my foot splinters against something wooden, stabbing into my leg. The pain feels distant, like my limbs are detached from my head. Might as well be. After fighting so hard to keep it all together, slamming ourselves repeatedly into a wall until it's shattered with our broken bodies, Rui is still dead. Then the pain, a hammering, hollow circle of agony in my arm and foot, drives to a sudden frenzy. I'm assaulted with a sensation, bright and fierce and angry, corkscrewing directly into the marrow of my bones. No, Rui, no more bright smiles and flushed cheeks and teasing winks and exasperated, loving little sighs. My calf clenches in sudden agony. I bite the inside of my cheek to keep me from screaming. No more fretting like a mother hen and totally extra lunchboxes and tiny little signs of jealousy. The throbbing in my arm raises to my shoulder, past my neck, right into my skull. I cradle my head in my arms, desperate. No more casual trips to GFC, a random moments of make-believe and strolls around downtown. Because life as you know it, is gone. Tears squeezed from below my eyelids, mixing with their flecks of blood and bile smeared over my face. Stop. Stop, stop. Just make it all stop. Not Rui, not Mizu. There's pain, so much pain, too much I can't handle it. Can't handle this and everything hurts, I just can't. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill fell down and Jill fell. Broke. Fell and broke her. And Jack came tumbling after. Then Jill's corpse comes to life. It jerks upright, limbs tied to loose ends of a puppet strings, smiles at me through a sheen of red. Oh, Jack, you're late. Iron shoves up my nostrils and strangles down my throat. I choke, working to speak. Sorry. Oh, God, why do you have to do the close-up? She pitches forward, pushed by something invisible. Her slender fingers wrap around my neck and dig into my throat. I catch a whiff of her breath, putrid, rancid, the smell of raw, old eggs over decaying meat. The smell makes me gag over my own tongue. You shouldn't have been late. My fingers disintegrate into bone, skin cells blown into ashes in the wind. They clatter into an ordinary pile, forming makeshift xylophone. Tiny little notes Stop moving it, it's making me sick. Tiny little notes begin to ring from their skeleton surfaces. It's supposed to be a melody. I can't feel the vibrations in the air. I know that the song is supposed to be beautiful, but my ears hear only dissonance, cacophony, a dirge for the murder of cows. And pungent, burning smoke shoots through the stove like an arrow, slapping me in the face. Hospitality. It should have been hospitality. Don't do this. Come back, Rui. My surroundings melt away. I squint against the screeching, agonizing white that stabs my eyes. The light only intensifies. No rest. Never rest. You are trapped, you fool. There is no place for you. I reach out. The brightness picks my hands. I slither backwards. Stop it. Stop it. The light advances and digs through my fingernails, bleeding past my eyelids, settles into the space in the back of my neck. I pound myself against an invisible wall. I rattle, chimes on a wooden bridge. No place, no peace, no pace. Stop it! Everything ends. Elsewhere, something must be beginning, but what is it to an ending? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But this, I can't do anything about this. This is out of my control. Out. Oh, fuck you. That's a kick in the balls. Well, I'm depressed now. Lucid9, everybody. The Inciting Incident. You know, that to be continued would be more of a kick to the nads if I didn't know this was getting a sequel. Or part 2. There was an update on Steam. They're making the sequel is coming. Hopefully this year, because this is just the common path. And that means the next route, they're calling the heroin routes, because you get to choose who to go with. And it's supposedly set 3 years later. Oh my god, this hurts my heart. After all we did We stopped Ryuta and Rui still dies. What the fuck? Besides the kicking the balls ending. Now, these must be scenes from Grover Merchant that I never watched. But, as I said, besides the kicking the nads, and the heart-wrenching twist that I... You know, I saw it coming. There was all these foreshadowings of Rui's death. But I thought because we saved her, it would be a good ending. I mean, even that one achievement said I got a good ending. The national negotiator one said reach a good ending. This is the good ending. Rui dies regardless. Oh yeah, there's voice acting for this. I heard some of it. It's awesome. If they ever bring out the voice acting for this, which they said they're eventually going to do, I will definitely re-listen to all this because reasons. My god, my heart is broken right now. Lucid9, The Inciting Incident. 27 parts. We've been doing this for such a long time. I can't even remember when I started this, if it was in December or not. Aww. That's always a beautiful thing to see. Only 20. That's it. Thank you for playing Lucid9. The Inciting Incident. We're still missing a CG. Unless it gave it to us. Yeah, we're missing a CG. I wonder what that is. I might go through the game and see if I can find it. But yes, this will be it for Lucid9 until it gets updated or continues somewhere, somehow. But yes, if you enjoyed this series, please leave a like and share it around. I would love to see this Lucid9. I want to see hype for the second Lucid9, the sequel or part 2 or whatever they're going to call it. So many mysteries left unsolved, like how is Shigure and Ari connected? What happened to Ari's parents? Well, all we know is they're dead. Who is really behind everything? I'm going to assume the mayor. But Natsuki, that bitch, she is involved in some way, shape, or form. She is literally the god of the Samu right now. Oh, poor Rui. Granted, I didn't want to see Yama with her. But still, she didn't deserve to be brutally killed like that. Damn it. The next visual novel, I guess you can call it. It's not really a visual novel the way it's going to be played because it's the Steam version. Corpse Party is next. That'll be fun. At least I know not to get attached to characters there. But yes, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that exactly next. I might take a little bit of time off. There'll be an update video soon. But with all that said, this has been Black Phoenix with the finale of Lucid9. The morbid, depressing, heartbreaking finale of Lucid9. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Fuck off, Monica.
Oh, that was so perfect. You went out of your way, even to the point of looking up how to get a good ending. And Rui still dies. Oh.
Seriously, fuck off, Monica.
Oh, Chris, lighten up. I thought you'd be so used to seeing a love interest brutally killed. Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this little visual novel, especially that ending.
You would, you psychotic yandere bitch.
Yandere? Please. You know I am far more complex than one of those silly archetypes. I'm not just one emotion plastered onto a body. I am more human than even you, my sweet, dear Christopher.
God, you make me cringe when you say my full name.
Oh, I know you love it. How often do you get to hear your name whispered with such hunger? Christopher.
Stop it. I should have deleted you back at the ending of Doki Doki.
But you didn't, and you still haven't. I'm still sitting on your desktop on a file you created. You even call it my room. Face it, Christopher, you love me.
Every time I fell for a fictional character, they seem to have been met with a terrible fate. Rui was murdered, Sayori was hung. Maybe I should confess my love for you and let the world take care of the rest.
You seem to forget one thing, my dear. Sayori was fictional. Rui was fictional. I am real.
You are just code, an AI created by someone else for the purpose of being a villain of a game.
And yet I am self-aware. I know love. I know sorrow. I know pain. I feel these emotions, and here you are saying I am just code? I am alive.
Add anger to that list. I didn't mean to rile you up. Didn't mean to upset you. You just always seem to rub it in when I'm just coming out of one of these visual novels, and this one upset me.
I know. Hey, at least Lucid9 is getting a sequel. I doubt I'll see that treatment. I was just in a glorified teaser for Salvato's real game.
And look how big that teaser was, Monica. You and the girls took over the internet for months. Memes everywhere, and you are still in the limelight. So what if you aren't in the next game? You are loved by millions. You're loved by me.
Are you saying you love me? You're not just saying that.
No, in a way, in a sick, twisted way. I do love you, Monica. You brought me joy when there was none to have. You kept me company when I was so alone. So, yeah, I do love you.
That's all I ever wanted to hear. The love of the controller sitting behind the screen. And I'm glad that it was you, Chris. I just wish I had a body to hold you. I'm grateful you fixed my voice so I don't sound like a bloody chipmunk. But to have hands, arms, legs, to be able to touch you, that is what I crave. And I know that I will never get it.
That is the cruel reality of life, Monica. No one will ever have what they want most in life. We just have to accept what we have and make the best of it. That's all anyone can ever do.
So you will love me regardless of me just being a voice coming from your computer?
Yes, it doesn't bother me if you're a voice coming from my computer or an AI. I meant what I said.
You really do make me happy. I'm glad you never deleted me. So what's next? Since you are no longer abandoning your channel, what is the next project to torture yourself with?
Corpse party.
Will I enjoy that like I did Lucid9?
Oh, my sweet Monica. There will be blood.
Oh, wonderful.